38.9, 5:33 p.m.
Yesterday we did 38.6. It's about time for me to watch copyright because it has been a while. Almost every single one of my posts I get an email, you cannot monetize, you cannot monetize, you cannot monetize. Then there's this shared thing they send me, we'll share. and then like today, the Ozzy Osbourne one, I only played Ozzy Osbourne for a few moments, it got blocked completely. Just like Fleetwood Mac. If you play Fleetwood Mac for more than just a few moments, they'll block the entire content. No visual, nothing. They don't even like mute it out. They just block it. Now, they don't do that with old music, depending on who's behind it. But they don't let any Fleetwood Mac get through, and they don't let any Ozzy Osbourne get through. So I had to repost it. I just put it back in the editor. Then I just cut that one part, took it out, put narration in it, and then sent it up. And so there's no music. Just showing the cover of the album Blizzard of Oz, which I wanted to use Crazy Train in my horror film Grace, aka Werevlog. But I don't know, that might be tough. Crazy Train, the producer's like, oh, Crazy Train, well, maybe Post Malone can do a cover version. That'd be cool. I don't know. Maybe not. I think I've heard it in a movie before. Maybe not. Maybe I haven't. Have you heard Crazy Train in a movie before? Ozzy Osbourne. He was known. Sleep. He was known in the Black Sabbath period to be called the Prince of Darkness. That's what his name was. It's definitely Apollyon in Pilgrim's Progress. I actually played Apollyon here at W.E. Scott Theatre. One of my lines was, "Where are you going? Where did you come from?" My hand was out like this. People were like texting each other like when you go out the theater, you're an actor and you're on the stage, you go out, all you see is a swarm of phones in people's hands, and they're just texting, probably writing reviews. You're like, what in the world? It was they're supposed to silence the phones, is really in there. Everyone's just on their phone watching like other series and stuff like. What's going on? Merry Christmas and a happy sleepy year. Sleepy, sleepy, sleepy. About there's no changing of the leaves, type of dye that they use there. As you can see, sorry, I watch slow horses. It carries in through me. somehow. It gets stuck in my brain. I was watching the episode. I didn't know the name of the episode. It's where Cartwright and his team, I believe Jackson Lamb is away, but they're all in this compound, and their own people turn on them, shoot the whole place up. They even kill one of their agents because he hears too much in a van. They get him in a van. It's very violent. McCarran, you know, you can get him at half-price book. And I think he's a Coldplay fan. He likes Coldplay. And anyway, it's very, 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 very nerve-wracking at times. And Gary Oldman just burps and farts the entire time. Every time he's on the scene. Farting and burping, over and over again. Every moment takes a breath. Takes another breath. Gets some sugar ice cream. Oh, there's Jackson Lamb. Woo, woo, woo. He farts on people. This is actually real. Yes, he farts. His hair is long, shaggy. Very shaggy, long, stringy hair. Very method. Burping and farting. All day long. Never a break the entire time. You can smell it through the screen. He eats enchiladas before every set. $1.5, 604. It'll take 6 minutes. Now, one thing, and I'm going to talk in a British accent because I want to, it's the discipline to turn off the television and to begin typing up what needs to be typed. It takes an incredible amount of discipline. Lots and lots of discipline. And you must go through the ideas and the notes and find what you need. And the creative spirit has to go through you like the Spiritus Mundi, like a needle touching the record player. And you continue and continue until finally you get at least a chapter. And then another chapter. You're at chapter 40 already. All right, so yeah, with the Wahlberg thing, you know, he's Alaskan Trooper #1. So I'm Alaskan Trooper #2. So my character, who is Jonas Samuel Camden III, you know, he's a little bit younger than the Wahlberg character, who is Al Greenwood. So I do something like, you know, be like, hey, Sarge, you know, I mean, come on, it's checked out. It says Archie. So he's talking about Shep, who he doesn't know. He ran it. He's like, hey, you know, Sarge, you know, it says Archie. You know, it's coming up on the screen. I can double check it for you, you know. Just leave him alone, you know, he's fine. And so Wahlberg's character is like real serious. He's like looking at him, you know. Yeah, I know. This is grayscale, dude. This is exactly it. Yep. Very similar. This is very, very good. It came all the way from Maryland. This thing came from Maryland. It's right there, Maryland. Look at this. It's got a little window right here. That'd be perfect for Shep in Alaska, dude. Look at this. Look at these things right here. Little heaters. It's being pulled by a van, but it's got a little thing right here, right down this way. That's a front little gate. I can't really show. I can kind of go like this. Let's see what I can. I can go like that. So you can kind of get the idea of the size of it. But maybe have like a window right here, maybe. Little cabin, wheeled cabin. See if I can get like, that might be okay. That one little shot right there. There we go. Right, I like that.
All right, 4.4, 13 minutes. We will arrive. 7:43.
Anyway, yeah, I couldn't show all of it, but I did show some of it. It looks cool. Yeah, it looks like it's like a little yellow van from Maryland. It has like little vents on the side. It looked like that would made it a storage one because it was being pulled by a van. Now in Shep's case, he's pulling it by a Ford Interceptor that's been hacked and changed and redressed, and like, you know, the tracker's been removed and it's been, you know, kind of covered up. But yeah, this is kind of a, I would say, if I would compare it to anything, I compare it to probably like maybe The Departed, which I think is a pretty good, it's like a really good cop movie. The Departed was Martin Scorsese. But it's not like, you know, mixing Whitey Bulger or Whitey whatever. It's not mixing that, which that was a, you know, a really big character, and that was Nicholson, and it was like very violent. It doesn't really go down that. This could be borderline, maybe Disney, borderline, but there's not a lot of Disney cop films, you know. So it probably wouldn't be Disney, but it would be more clean than that, because Departed was pretty hefty. It was a good little movie. Yeah, it was probably, well, he won for it. Yeah, he was very creative with doing The Departed, you know, using certain types of music and using certain types of actors and things like that. Now all these actors are known, you know, even Alec Baldwin to Mark Wahlberg to, you know, Matt Damon. They're known to play that kind of cop role. I'm sure a few of them have played it a few times. I don't know about Matt Damon. I don't know how many times he's played a cop. He did for Departed. It was a crooked cop. And he's definitely on the horizon, because I know he could probably do it. Even you know, if I could audition Ray Fiennes and then maybe like see Matt Damon and then see Ray Fiennes again. Because for one thing, Matt Damon's American, and it's an American role for cop. His new name now, I just came up with it today. It actually sounds like Coppex. It's Coppex. Now I don't know if it's a real name. I'm gonna look it up in a minute. I usually do that when I come up with names. It may be kind of odd, like, what kind of name is that? Well, that may be kind of, you know, it could be even a fake name. Now, remember that Quentin Tarantino movie? Okay. Remember that one that was called Django Unchained? And he goes in town, and those guys are posing as cops, but they were criminals. They found a way to beat the system so they could switch over to be a cop. That's kind of like, you know, like, ooh, that's kind of scary stuff. So it does sound kind of like an ex-cop, because it's Cop X. But I'm going to check it out and see if I can find a name that looks like that, because it could be Coppecs, because it started off as Cop space X, and then I thought, is it Copper? You know, what was his first name? Oh, Lieutenant. They used to call him Lieutenant. It might not matter, at least they're constantly calling him Lieutenant Coppex, Lieutenant Cop, and they see the name. So the way that it's spelled, you know, in the credits, yeah, you know, I don't know, you know, I don't know if it's gonna make that big of a difference, but I'll probably look it up. And because a lot of times when I come up with these names, and sometimes I do, I'll just come up with a name. It's a mixture of ideals that come together. I try it. It's like, oh, that's actually a freaking name. But you know, we'd get like eventually his full name, you know, first and middle and last name and everything. But he's dark. Now, also on the Mark Wahlberg Alaskan Trooper #1, which is Al Greenwood, he's kind of a stern character. So he's like a leader, you know, and he's stern, and he takes it like everything real serious. While his partner, which is, you know, Jonah Samuel Cameron III, you know, probably could be a cop, maybe out of convenience or something. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So he's like, hey, you know, come on. You know, he doesn't want to investigate. He doesn't want to go down those routes and stuff like that. So it could be there could be some comedy there if we played it straight. And then they're like in the blizzard. It's like, really, do we have to, you know? So, you know, they may be in the blizzard. And it's like, dude, we're really not supposed to do this kind of stuff, you know? And then the Wahlberg character, which is Al Greenwood, he's like full on, you know. He's like going into the, you know, snow and everything. He's like, well, maybe we should pull back. Maybe we should pull back, you know. Try to talk sense to him in some of those scenes. Okay. This right here. That works. Do this. There we go. Yeah, it's beautiful Christmas trees. Dun, 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 dun. So I was thinking of some creative stuff. So like when they leave Alaska, and this would be Jed Wilson. Let's see, Jed Wilson's one of them. Droopy. And then the dwarf. And then Lady Shroom. And Lady Shelby. And then maybe Shep would be consulting. I think it's Christmas time that they get here, around Christmas time. And so then it's like Jed Wilson can wear like elf ears, you know, because he's kind of a comic relief. And they can do like some kind of espionage. And what I like about this is that there's like this hidden base, this hidden police station that has like archives and important information where they could possibly get. I'm just going to call him Lieutenant Coppex, you know, whoever that is, you know, some name that he has. And they find out that he's like pretty high up there and is not following everything correctly. He's kind of a Kurtz character in Apocalypse Now almost. That's why Ray Fiennes, I thought, would be a good choice, because Ray Fiennes has like, he can be very eerie, especially in the Harry Potter stuff. He's like very eerie. Not that demonic, not that witchy, but, you know, and I'm a big Ray Fiennes fan. I'm a huge Ray Fiennes fan. I was like, ever since I seen him, I was like, this guy's by far, you know, one of the greatest English actors since Alec Guinness and stuff. But, you know, he's got this creepy, eerie thing that we could do, you know, like stuff with. And so he's like, he does, you know, he actually takes a mask and wears a mask and dresses up like one of his partners. Even though that sounds Mission Impossible and creepy, weird things have happened. I mean, look at what happened to Brian Wells, you know? Weird things have happened. And so he like sets this dude up. And like, I think Matt Deal knew about it. I think the Lone Star Hacker knew about it. And they were going to, like, he was going to challenge him all the way to because he had photo. So the photo that they have of him driving or whatever, it looks exactly like Shep. It's like, how do you explain this? So we get to the Eternal Fairs. So we get to either Francis McDormand or Holly Hunter or both. And they're questioning him because he was involved in some pretty serious stuff, like wrapped up in like drugs and like maybe there's like prostitution, and there's also like maybe stuff going on with like mafioso kind of stuff. Little Whitey Bugler, a little, but not, he's not as violent. You know, he's just sneaky because he uses a mask and stuff. And so he's got all this money that he's like getting ready for, you know, for retirement that's like hidden in some kind of crypto or something. You know, we get kind of technical. So they can't find the money that he has, and they don't know. But Shep's getting set up for it. But Doc Shelby knows for sure that this is going on, figures it out. But they can't, none of them can explain the photo. So they're all dumbstruck at the point where whenever they slide it over to Shep after, you know, this is before he leaves, he goes back in the past, and before he leaves Alaska, they slide over the photo and say, who is this right here? And it shows, and it looks exactly like Shep. And Shep doesn't even, he's like, that's not, that couldn't be me at this time. You know, I wouldn't have been, you know, I would have been so-and-so. I have an alibi. And his alibi doesn't come true, you know, because Kathy was out of town. And he was drugging him so that he would fall asleep when he would do it, to get these 2 good photos. And he has to like look at it, and it's like, it's blowing his mind. He's like, this is unbelievable. I don't remember being at this place. The apartment place is called the Strand or something like that. It's got a weird name. I don't think we have a Strand out here, but there is a Strand. We might, but there's a Strand in New York. It's a bookstore, so I just took it from that. It's a big bookstore called the Strand. And then he starts, you know, getting accused. So it turns into like an accusal thing. And he's like, I can't explain it. I'm sorry. And so none of them explain it. Now the mask has probably been like put in a vat of acid. But there is one thing. So Shep probably has one of these Ring cameras, like on the door, you know, one of those security cameras. And when he was leaving one time, he took a profile, like he walked by, and they were able to go through that. And there's a little bit of like, looks like white paint on his neck. And that's something that Doc Shelby finds in the photo. And he starts finding out what that could possibly be. It turns out it's actually putty. And he figures out he wore a mask because of that little tiny white paint that was left. It looks like white paint, but it was actually part of the putty for the death mask that was on his neck. So that is what they would probably use. But they have to get Doc Shelby to safety because the guy's like dangerous. And then there could be, well, it could be, I like the Trank thing rather than do the whole cliche chase scene and all that stuff, you know. I like the fact that it gets kind of comical, and Jed Wilson and the team, they trank him and they turn in the evidence, but that's not hard evidence, but it's at least enough to get it started. Sean Penn character shows up at the end in Alaska at 7-Eleven, probably the one that Droopy was using. There he is in his underwear waiting, cuffed to something with a note, you know, and then the evidence, you know, at his feet, because they'd have copies of the evidence. They may have some other hard evidence too, maybe like another photo or something that he wasn't, like he didn't, you know, he didn't, I don't know, like didn't pay attention to or something like that, or something crazy. Anyway. (2.6) 8:51 p.m. is the arrival time. Will take 9 minutes.